So this is the week 8. So in this week 8, the chapter name is the crime of the powerful people. So in this chapter, so basically this crime of the powerful people, this mainly include the financial loss or like the physical harm. So there are less physical harm and deaths in this chapter. So these crimes are oftenly not recognized as the part of the crime problems. So basically in this there are many government and corporate and military causes more harm than the street crimes. So the first one, the white collar crime. In this white collar crime, so Edwin Switzerland defined that the white collar crimes are the offenses or which are committed by the high people. For example, the people which are very, for example, the corporate people, the people living in the big buildings, so where everything is very clean. So these white collar crimes are mostly done by the people living doing work in the offices. So these are known as the white collar crimes. So in this there are many other crimes. For example, the first one is the occupational crime. So this occupational crime is mostly committed by the people, by the employee level people and the executive against the organization. So in this occupational crimes, there are high rank individuals which cause the most harm. For example, the Bank of Montreal fraud case. So there was in this the employees which are working in the bank did the fraud. The mostly the employee did a fraud in the bank. So this is known as the occupational crime. So done for the basic needs. So the next one is the corporate crime. So in this crime, which mainly benefited the corporates and the executives. So there are like two forms included in this crime. The first one is the corporate tax evasion. So in this mostly they using the tax evasions to avoid paying the full taxes. Also the corporate violence. So in this they breach in the safety regulations which are leading to workplace death. For example, the mine disaster. The third one is the financial crime. So the financial crime is also the crime, the theft or fraud, which is done by the people for the financial gain. For example, for the earning money for the sake of money. For example, the banking fraud. So there are many bank fraud which are done all over the world and also in Canada, which I talked before. So this is the financial crime in which the people do the financial crime by looting the bank or doing the fraud. For example, many big people do the fraud with the bank by taking the money. So this is the financial crime. So the fourth one is the political crime. The political crime is a crime in which, so in this political crime, it mainly talk about the corruption, about the bribery. For example, there is the big politicians. So mostly the big people which are doing the crime. For example, the corporate crime and other crime we learned about. So in this crime, they basically give bribery to the politicians for taking the grants and many other things. So also the many politicians do corruption for so that the tax can be saved of the big people, big power, big corporate houses. So in this political crime, so this is basically state organized crime which is committed by the government, the legal people of the country. So there are many genocide and colonialism, like for example the indigenous people, depression, residential schools, or the national crime. So there are many challenges which are addressing crime of the powerful. For example, victim often unaware of the victimization and more economic damage than the street crime. More economic damage. For example, on the street, so there is more economic damage for a country than the crime done in the streets. And also the data collecting is weak and whistleblowers face high risk in this. So in conclusion, I will say that the crime of the powerful people is so mostly the crime of the powerful people. So there will be no harm to the people, but it will harm the financial system of the country. So the people will not give the so no will not give the taxes. So because there are many political parties or the people which take bribery, so at the end the nation will face a big loss. So these are the white collar crime. Thanks.